Hi, this is Alan Fine, and I'm here with Executive Chef Pankaj Bisht, who is at the new Park Hyatt in St. Kitts, and this is Insider Travel Report. So we are aware of 3 restaurants at the location. Can you tell us about them?
That's right. Hello, everyone. We got 3 beautiful restaurants. One of them is our all-day dining restaurant called The Great House, where we serve our breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus all in-room dining that we call the room dining. We got our second restaurant in the property, which is Fisherman Village, ocean to table concept. So all seafood items available there, open for lunch and dinner. It's a beautiful outdoor restaurant which can fit up to 120 people indoor and outdoor. And then we have our third signature dining restaurant for adults only called Stone Barn. The main feature of all 3 restaurants in our property is that all 3 of them has an open show kitchen. So the guests literally come into the kitchen to say hello to the chefs and before they proceed to the dining area, which makes it more unique because as you can see in today's dining world, the food is everything, people, and in your...
It's like a show you're on.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's look like you watch a live show and you see the chefs cooking for you. You can see that what kind of cooking practices, of course...
You learn something.
But yes, it's super important, if the clients have any questions or the guests have any question, especially when they come to a resort like us, so they are on relaxed mode. They live there for 7 days. So it's a home away from home. So sometimes people don't feel comfortable ordering the menu, and oftentimes you see that a guest might feel a little bit hesitant when you go to the restaurant to ask the server a question that is food related, where they find it difficult to communicate. But then our kitchens give them the freedom to directly have the direct access to the guest and the chef. So apart from these 3 restaurants, we do a lot of theme nights. We have recently started our Sunday brunch. We call it the Kitchen by the Ocean. The reason it's called Kitchen by the Ocean, it's literally next to the beach. So the view is just amazing from there, and the guest can directly come to the kitchen. And we always train our service staff by telling them that, hey, please inform the guest if there is something they don't find on the menu, just let them ask to the chef, and the chefs are always there. We have almost 43 chefs in our kitchen, 7 different nationalities, so food is definitely not going to be an issue. Main focus is to cater each and every need for each and every customer.
Wow. Now, what's your background? I mean, what do you bring to the table, so to speak?
Well, I think, for myself, the most important thing that I bring to Park Hyatt St. Kitts is my experience. I'm working with the company for 12 plus years. This is my 4th Park Hyatt property to work for.
Which ones were your prior?
I started with Park Hyatt in Dubai back in 2005, then moved to Park Hyatt Melbourne, Park Hyatt Sydney, and Melbourne is home for me. And before moving to St. Kitts, I was the executive chef in Park Hyatt Maldives.
Same menu at all 4 places? No.
Absolutely.
What were the differences?
You learn. We have a very distinctive food philosophy at Hyatt overall, with all Hyatt hotels that we have 700 plus hotels in the world. We believe in food thoughtfully sourced, carefully served. Being the very first luxury resort on the island, it was not only challenging to source the produces, but you have to be super creative in order to how you can utilize the skill of the people that you get on the island. Also, how you can create your own resources. So we have come a long way since we have opened, and I can only say that it has been a great learning opportunity for me to take my experience to a completely different level.
Can you tell us about certain dishes that, for example, we have photos of? Can you describe the dishes and what they, what they are? Yeah. What's in them? How you came up with the idea of each dish?
See, we as I said that my cuisine, coming from an Indian family, and I have worked for many different countries, and we're working with so many chefs, whether it's French, Italian, Germans, and Indians, So I develop my menus that revolves around the produces that we can get.
Right.
So, for example, in Great House, our main dining restaurant, we have a very nice breakfast dish, which is called the Mansa's bird eye chili egg. So Mansa's bird eye is a very unique chili that is grown in the neighboring island Nevis. So these chilies are our shortest import that we get from Nevis. So it's a 7-minute boat ride from Nevis. We make basically poached egg that comes with our homemade bread, multigrain bread, grilled multigrain bread with pear avocado that you find in St. Kitts and Nevis. They are very different to Hass avocados. They are not as firm as the Hass avocados. So a guacamole of pear avocado with multigrain bread, 2 poached egg on top, and the salsa made with chili and tomato that are grown on local St. Kitts and Nevis. Wow. So that's a unique feature of that dish. Very, very popular amongst our patrons there. And also we pair it up with a nice beetroot salsa. The beetroots are grown in St. Kitts. So all the produces that we source from there. We have a very unique dish in our Fisherman Village restaurant. Spiny lobsters are very different to the Maine lobster that you get in US. The Maine lobsters are very tender, while the spiny lobster, because they are warm water crustaceans, so they are very tough. So how do we get the meat softened, So we braise it with the rum, spice rum, and rum is distilled in the Caribbean. So we braise the lobster meat in a way that they get very, very tender, and we pair
it doesn't lose the original character.
Absolutely not.
Because it's always a delicate flavor.
It's very fast.
So you're
yeah. So we made a crustacean kind of bolognese instead of meat, because the way we braise the lobster meat with the rum, it makes it super tender that you kind of get a meaty feeling of lobster, and we can pair it with anything. So in our restaurant, we pair it with a squidding pasta. So in a seafood restaurant, which is also a very popular dish. In Great House again for dinner, we have Fleming's signature barbecue chicken. This dish is especially very close to my heart. The reason is because it has a nice history behind it. Fleming's used to be the governor of the estate where we have Park Hyatt St right now, and we have a Fleming's bar in our property to his name. Now, Fleming's estate, back in the days, there were a lot of slaves who used to work in that farm. They were basically Indo-Africans who came from India to Africa, then to Caribbean. And the staple food back in the days for the Indo-African slaves were sweet potatoes and curry. So we have worked with some of the Peruvians in St. Kitts and Nevis, where we source our local chicken, which is free range. So we paired, and barbecue is very popular in the Caribbean, thanks to America, USA. We get this one from there, but we make our barbecue chicken with a curry-infused barbecue sauce. So the chicken is local. It's done in a very unique way because we slow cooked it, and we pair it with a curry flavored barbecue sauce that makes it even more special, and accompanied with sweet potatoes, which is staple food in St. Kitts. So and that dish, I feel so special when I explain to the customer that we can combine the dishes with the history of St. Kitts and Nevis, and it's become a talking point. It's not only the guest comes and eat the local produces, they get to know we have the opportunity to share the history of St. Kitts and Nevis, which most of the people don't know.
So you didn't know you were going to get a history lesson here. And also, you realize you can't get this food anywhere else. These are your signature
Correct.
Dishes.
These are and I would say, this is the creation. When we start creating the dishes, we don't have any recipe book at Park Hyatt St. Kitts. The reason is we have 70% of staff who are females, so we have woman power in our kitchen. We have 30% of staff who are less than 20 years old in our kitchen. And also, when I first started working in the hotel, I realized that giving the traditional way of handing over the recipes and expecting the job to be done, it's not going to be that easy. So we are trying to teach hospitality or culinary to the people who have either never experienced or neither have seen the hospitality before. So it was a challenging part. But thanks to their amazing attitude that they learn so fast, and we, instead of going for a traditional way of giving the recipe to them, we start working with them. So the approach is very hands-on. Myself and among all my managers that we have working with them, we work with the staff. We teach them how a fish should be should be felt when you are cooking it. So they learn it from heart, and they learn it through experience. So now I feel so proud that after 6 months they can make the produces without even reading a recipe, because this recipe is going to remain with them for the rest of their life. Right. And so that's a great way, and I think it's a great practices that we have started. And again, as I said, that it gives an amazing opportunity for people like me who come from other countries to be able to work with the people in St. Kitts and Nevis, and advance their career in a way that to help us to become better managers. Yeah.
Well, I feel, especially with that, the family feeling and the care that goes into it, the food is always better when that much care goes into it. So I'm pretty impressed. And I think you guys are too. So I want to thank you for sharing all that. Thank you all for watching. This is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.